Good morning, everyone. Are these all on? Everyone good to go? Okay. Good morning. I'd like to welcome you here to the Customs House this morning. My name is Joe Gallion. I'm the Deputy Special Agent in charge for Homeland Security Investigations in the Carolinas. And I bring you here today with all of my colleagues to announce an enforcement action that happened here in Charleston County on November 6th of this year. It was a marijuana seizure that was a joint effort between all of the partners, agencies that you see standing behind me here. And you know, it signifies the tremendous law enforcement joint effort environment that we have the benefit of having here in the Carolinas. And the marijuana seizure in question was 3,734 pounds, 3,734 pounds. And what you see in front of me here is a representative sample of the full amount. This is 1/8 of the total seizure of the narcotics. And each one of these packages contains approximately 1 kilo of marijuana wrapped in various concealment materials. And what I'd like to highlight here is that this tremendous effort was made possible through, like I said, the federal, state, and local agencies that you see represented here today, who will also be speaking to you after me. And you know, they're all part of the Border Enforcement and Security Task Force, which is an HSI-led Department of Homeland Security task force, which addresses large-scale vulnerabilities and transnational criminal organizations, utilizing its partners, which are state, federal, and local agencies. And that combined effort and unification of resources allows for enforcement events like we're here to talk about today. So I will now turn this over to Sheriff Al Cannon for Charleston County. And before I turn it over to the Sheriff, I think he may speak to it a little bit more, but this is the largest by weight narcotic seizure in the history of Charleston County. Quite clearly the largest marijuana seizure ever here in Charleston County. So with that said, I turn it over to the good sheriff.
Thank you, Joe. Just want to make a couple brief points. One, add a little bit about the Border Enforcement Security Task Force, Strike Task Force. I was fortunate enough to go to San Diego, I think 4 years ago, representing the state of South Carolina, along with our colleagues from Georgia and North Carolina, where we received the certification for our Southeastern best team, Border Enforcement Strike Force team. That is another opportunity for agencies to work together, build relationships, and this effort can be tied to the strong relationships that grew out of the Seahawk Port Security Initiative. In fact, the best team with state, local, and federal partners is headquartered at the Seahawk. So this is in many respects the result of the relationships that we built over the last 10 years. Now, I would also point out that when you have this is a very complex case, and it required having access to a whole host of resources. We did not know how many people were involved in this, where they might go, what sort of vehicles they were in. So it required that we have all sorts of resources, aerial, marine, law enforcement, throughout not only this area, but throughout the state and North Carolina as well. You can only call on those resources if, number one, you know that the resources exist, and number two, you have the people with you that can reach back and bring those resources into play. So this is about cooperation. It's about relationships that have developed over the years amongst the local, state, and federal agencies that work to protect the community. The other point I would make is this ought to serve as a rather rude wake-up call for this community in the sense of who we are dealing with and the level to which the drug trafficking has come to. This close to 2 tons of marijuana with about a street value of maybe $4 million is not the result of some local person with that kind of money laying around to make that kind of purchase. We're talking about Mexican drug cartels. And these cartels, while the violence thus far has been mostly focused on what's going on in Mexico, the fact of the matter is the cartels are very active in the United States, and this was an initiative of those drug cartels. And so Charleston needs to recognize that we see them in the jail, we see individuals that are associated with gangs. Our police departments have encountered them on the street, and this ought to be some pretty significant evidence of the fact that is a serious and real problem here. Now I'm going to turn it over to Chief Eddie Driggers of the North Charleston Police Department.
Morning. I was just standing back there thinking this is an evolution. This is different than it looked when I started law enforcement. They are becoming more educated in ways to smuggle marijuana. So we have to get more educated, and that's the primary purpose for us joining our forces together, so that we can stamp out the criminal element when they bring things into our territories, and then join across the United States in order to secure the United States as far as the homeland security issue goes. It is invaluable for us to be talking in law enforcement. When I first got in law enforcement, I remember the first seizure I made, it was a dime bag of marijuana. This is a lot more than a dime bag of marijuana. It was a street buy. So by myself, I made a dime bag of marijuana. Collectively, we almost got 4,000 pounds of marijuana. And that's what it's going to take across this nation for us to be talking and to be better than they think we are. Mark Keel is with the State Law Enforcement Division, the Chief of Slade.
I just want to say very briefly that I think that what we see here today is a culmination of cooperation among law enforcement. I always say that we in law enforcement can't accomplish anything on our own, but when we work together, federal, state, local law enforcement, we put aside territorial differences and we just get out there and work together, communicate, talk to one another. This is a result of those type things, and that's the way we keep our neighborhoods safe. It's the way we keep our families safe. And again, I just want to echo what the others have said and tell everyone that we appreciate the cooperation and help, and again, we look forward to continued cooperation in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. As you can see, that the results here, as everyone has mentioned, are attributed really to that cooperative effort, and we look forward to that joint partnership all in this room, just continuing and blossoming and getting stronger and larger. So, would like to open up to any questions at this time.
Joe,
Yes,
what
sir.
prompted the folks in Laredo to search that furniture?
Without speaking fully for CBP, who's here as well, Director, that's what they do every day at the border. They're very tenacious at it. They're good at what they do. They work hard. It's not easy work, what CBP does at the borders or anywhere else. But that's their job. That's what they do. They look at merchandise, they look at cargo, and they're looking for anomalies and concealment methods.
Does this signify less successful drug busts and more of a problem coming to Charleston?
Well, I think it really signals that there is a problem out there in our communities, like the chiefs talked about and the sheriff. What I think it signifies is the fact that we're all coming on board together, and that's really the important part. Not that we all haven't intended to do that over the years, but we're getting there, and we're getting there in a better way.
Joe, could you describe these items that we have right here, what exactly goes into them to make them, to form them in the shape they are now? And some of the other pieces of furniture or whatever that you discovered as part of this investigation?
Sure, I can't get too detailed on it, but I'll tell you what we can generically here go over. Each one of these is about 1 kilo of compressed marijuana inside. Obviously, using some sort of form or press to do it. It's wrapped with a plastic material and then wrapped in a paper material. And then the coloring you see on here obviously is a dye of some sort that would make it look very much like wood. And these were concealed inside some furniture, which would be very similar to the furniture you see over here that the television's on. These were internally concealed within furniture, but our suspicion is that obviously the coloring of it would be, if CBP opened it up or something broke, it would look, you know, like part of the framing of the furniture. So.
Is this not detectable through X-ray technology, or how can it be detected?
Well, there's many ways to detect it. I really don't think we should comment on that because obviously, you know, CBP and the other federal agencies at the border use various techniques, and I really think that we really shouldn't go too detailed on it this time. Thank you.
Did you say the color was a red flag to them? Did I hear that right?
It could be if say some of the furniture was busted open or someone took a closer look. You know, because obviously, if you'll see here, the original color of it would stand out if say the furniture was busted open or looked at, which obviously is routine. So it may not draw someone's attention as quickly with the coloring on it.
And can you explain how officials knew it was, since it was discovered in Texas, the connection to Charleston and North Carolina?
You know, it is an ongoing investigation, and I think discussing that in detail would not be appropriate at this time.
Is there something the public can take away from this, or that you would like them to know, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I think the sheriff and the chiefs summed it up in the fact that we're out there together. We're looking at these organizations and doing the best job that we can from a whole law enforcement perspective. And we're looking for the bad guys out there, and you know, realizing there's a problem nationwide with narcotics, like there has been for many decades. We're taking a stronger approach at doing it together. I think what the public needs to take away here is that you know, there is no longer borders or, you know, territorial restrictions that these organizations use. You know, they're really transnational in nature. They're transcontinental. They you know, they operate all over the place, and they're not worried about boundaries and borders, and you know, really, they're multinational, multi-international organizations that really work together to make, you know, something like this possible on the illegal side.
So is there something the public needs to keep a lookout for, or, you know, they should know that?
I don't think this is something that the general public would ever know about if we didn't bring it to their attention, but we think the public should know that, you know, we've got their best interests in mind from a law enforcement perspective together.
Was it destined for Charleston, North Carolina to be sold here, or was that a stop on a greater transcontinental route?
You know, some of it was destined to North Carolina as well. Those details we really, you know, can't release at this time.
Were all the drugs in this form that we see here?
Yes. Yeah, this is just, like I said, a representative sample.
You said the
This is 1/8 of the entire shipment.
Do you know how many are here right now, or?
I do not know.
120 bricks.
120. Yeah.
So these are supposed to look like furniture pieces.
Yes.
Is it just me, or are they really not very well disguised?
Well, they were concealed within furniture. So understand that they were concealed within So if the furniture got examined by CBP or drilled or broke or busted open, which happens, you know, in cargo shipments, it would look like internal pieces of wood that comprise the furniture.
Have you seen anything like this before, or have other agents throughout the country seen stuff like this before?
I'm not aware of that, Patrick, are you aware?
Yes, we have had furniture, it's a method.
Yeah, furniture, but this particular method, you know, they use all sorts of different disguises.
As far as size goes, in other areas of the country where the cartel may be more prominent, have you seen busts this size?
This is a very significant seizure for marijuana. Really anywhere in the country it would be. 3,700 pounds is a large seizure. Even down on the border where obviously, you know, narcotics are more prevalent because it's a passage point or a smuggling point, but this is a large significant seizure anywhere in this country.
Did you discuss where this was being taken in the local area?
We're not at liberty to discuss that at this time. Any other questions, folks?
Thank you.
If you'd like to learn more about our border enforcement security task forces nationwide, you can go to the ICE.gov website. There's a link on there, and it talks about the 35 of these that we have nationwide. And obviously, depending on where they're at, they have different roles and different partners and different priorities. But you know, I would encourage you to take a look at that.
Do you mind just stating your name and title and stuff?
Sure. My name is Joseph Gallion, Gallion. And I'm the Deputy Special Agent in charge for Homeland Security Investigations. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I oversee the BEST program within our AOR, which would be the 2 Carolinas and Georgia. Anyone else?
Thank you very much.
We all thank you very much for coming today. Thank you.